Hey, how's it, everybody? It is 5 p.m. West Coast time, 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Mad Statter, and this is Chatter with Statter. Thank you so much for joining us here today. It looks like we've got Chalk in the Chatterbox crew, Statterbox crew, and verifying that we have got a gear. Cindy Krause popping in. How's it, Cindy? So good to see you. All right, so I want to let you guys know something today. I don't know what is going on, but my cat has decided she wants to talk to everybody. So if you guys hear a kitty in the background, like maybe right now you might have heard one. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my cat, but she's just talkative today. So if you hear a kitty in the background, well, that's just how that works. So, all right. So now that you have been warned about all of the kitties, why don't we get the kitty cat party started? All right, there we have it. Now, as you guys might have guessed, today being Wednesday is a little bit of Whale Talk Wednesday. We'll get into that a little bit later. I've got a video for you guys, and this is going to be, consider yourself warned, this is going to be one of those streams where you might accidentally learn something. Just saying. So, so there you have it. But, let's see here. Oh no, Shock, you're having a super glue experience? And judging from the capitalization that you wrote, it's not that you're having a super glue experience, it's that you're having a super glue experience. And I think we all know that super glue experiences aren't always super. Yeah, exactly. Cindy is saying, oh no, what are you gluing? Yeah, oh no, what? Oh no. Oh no, what's going on here, Chuck? Are you glued? Did you accidentally glue yourself to your computer? From what I understand, nail polish remover is helpful when trying to undo some super gluing things, but yeah. Oh no, you already broke your new seam ripper and you stabbed yourself in the foot. Oh, and so now you're using it as a healing apparatus. Super glue is actually pretty handy for that. Totally in the field kits. If you've got a little slicey slice and you need to close it up, as counterintuitive as it seems to put toxic poison in your broken skin, it's actually a really good idea to put the toxic poison in the broken skin. You see, I should do their advertising for them. I don't understand why they don't let me write their copy. Put the toxic poison in the skin. Oh, no, you had to put okay, you just super glued yourself. Or you're using the super glue to put the pointy little red ball back on the pointy little bit. Got it. Oh no, Cindy, you got yourself in the middle of your forehead once. I'm not saying that that's funny, but yeah, I'm saying that's pretty funny, actually. That sounds kind of funny. Now, I mean, then, no, but now, that's funny. That's very fun. That's very funny. Okay, so, you guys, last Sunday, we were talking, we got a little saucy, all right? Now, I showed a little video of, like, the 5 mother sauces of barbecue. And there was some scuttlebutt about the particular recipe used for the vinegar barbecue sauce that was shown in that video. Because, you see, in that video, dude put ketchup in his vinegar sauce. And I don't know much about vinegar sauce, never made one in my life for the barbecues. But even I know, like, I don't really know if ketchup's supposed to belong in vinegar sauce, right? Yeah, I don't think so. So, I would like to make amends for passing along this horrible information. And I have a video here where we're gonna act like it's Sunday for a minute, and we're gonna talk about we're gonna make amends for the not so wonderful vinegar recipe. I'm gonna show you this other vinegar barbecue recipe by a gentleman named Chef John, and Chef John has a huge amount of followers on YouTube. And if you enjoy cooking and you aren't following Chef John, you really should, because he is a delightful content creator, and he makes some of the dumbest jokes in his streams, in his videos. I mean, they are just super corny dad jokes, and well, you gotta love him for that. So here I am going to be making amends. Let's do some real vinegar barbecue sauce recipe. Okay, let's do it.
Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Eastern North Carolina barbecue sauce. That's right, as promised during the paper pork video, I'm going to show you my West Coast twist on this very unusual barbecue sauce. So I guess this actually makes this a Western style, Eastern North Carolina style barbecue sauce. And not only is this stuff amazing on any kind of barbecued meat, it's also ridiculously easy to make. In fact, there's actually more directions in the name than there are directions in the recipe. So let's go ahead and get started with the least important ingredient, which would be a little bit of some type of sweetener. And for my version, I'm going to use honey. Back in North Carolina, sugar would be way more common, if added at all. Many recipes don't add any. So that's up to you. You have been, are, and always will be the boss of your sauce. Even weird ones like this. And then after the sweet, we're going to go with some heat, starting with a whole bunch of freshly ground black pepper, and not a little, we're doing a lot, followed by an equally crazy looking amount of red pepper flakes. And then once we have our little bit of sweet and a whole lot of heat, we're going to add the most important ingredient, the vinegar, which, believe it or not, makes up most of this sauce. And I like to use two kinds. I like to go with half apple cider vinegar, and then half just plain white distilled vinegar. And if you can, try to get most of it in the bowl. Although some white vinegar on the counter is not a bad thing. You see this green squeeze bottle? That actually contains white vinegar diluted with water, which is pretty much what I use for like 90% of kitchen cleanups. But anyway, let's wipe that up and continue on with the last ingredient, which is going to be a little touch of salt. And that is going to be it. As soon as we take a whisk and mix this up, our Western style, Eastern North Carolina style barbecue sauce is done. And you'll hear the old timer say, once this is mixed up, the liquid should look like a murky North Carolina swamp. And while I did just make that up, it kind of sounds like something that could be true, and I'm encouraging you to take that story and share it with your guests. And don't think of it as being dishonest. Think of it as being colorful. So we'll give that a mix, and like I said, we are pretty much done. And sure, if you want, give it a taste, but there's a problem. A sauce like this is really hard to taste as is. All right, you're really not going to appreciate something like this until it's on some beautiful, rich, smoky meat. So if you are making this for the first time, don't be surprised if you're going to have to do a little bit of adjusting. And then if you want, you can eat this right away, but it's much better the next day. So I do recommend making it a little bit ahead of time, which I did not do. I went ahead and served mine immediately on some paper pork, which really was unbelievable. The whole idea behind this style of sauce is the contrast between that smoky, fatty meat and this thin, spicy, bracing, vinegary sauce, which makes for just an absolutely fantastic pairing. Whoops, where are you going? Did you see how I took care of that digitally? So anyway, to summarize, awesome on any kind of meat, barbecued or otherwise. And then let's go ahead and finish this up by showing you my recommended method for storage and service, which would be in one of these plastic squeeze bottles. Just make sure you cut off enough of that nozzle so you have a big enough opening so your chili flakes don't get stuck, because that will definitely cause some issues. And then we'll just use a funnel to fill that up, and we'll screw on the top, and that's it. Just place that next to your pork shoulder or whatever you're serving this with, and you are good to go. Just remember to give it a little shake before using, and you're going to be, as they say, in hog heaven. But anyway, there you go, my take on a North Carolina-style barbecue sauce. Sort of a bonus video, since I'm actually off this week and heading down to Southern California for a top-secret project. I know, so mysterious. But all will be revealed in good time. And speaking of good time, I really do hope you give this deliciously different barbecue sauce a try soon. So head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.
All right, so, oops, hold on. All right, so there we have it. It looks like Anne snuck in the house during that little video. So Anne, just so you know, this video is a little bit of a throwback to the Saucy Talk Sunday we had, because as I mentioned before, I threw down that little video. One of the recipes that we watched on Sunday had a recipe for the 5 different sauces, and the vinegar sauce in that video was made with ketchup, and I think we all knew that was just wrong. So I went and found a better recipe, a more traditional recipe. Plus, I love Chef John, and I really like the goofy jokes that he makes and all of his little commentary when he makes mistakes and things like that. So, so I'm hoping that you guys can forgive me for showing the incorrect, shall we say, the incorrect ketchup-based vinegar sauce on Sunday, and this video was to make amends. So, Picola T, good to see you. Yes, no, not an ad. Well, I guess it was an ad on my part. Chef John is a content creator on YouTube that I think is just goofy as heck. And like I was saying, I wanted to make amends for the incorrect vinegar-based sauce that was shown on Sunday, and I figured Chef John's version was a lot more traditional, what with there being no ketchup in it. So there you have it. Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here. That's so cute. And let's see here. So I'm good. I'm so happy that Picola T came in. I'm so glad that Ann Ware came in. Hopefully all is forgiven with the ketchup in the vinegar sauce that happened on last Sunday. So there we have it. That's what's going on. And as I mentioned earlier, we do have some whale talk today. We might even be getting into it soon because we've got a lot of whale talk today, actually. But before we get into the whale talk, I figure, since I know that we've got the fan club here, why don't we watch a little Lono video? All right, then, let's do that. I don't know why I'm packing on the videos at the beginning of the stream, but let's do it. All right. Yes, Cindy, the story is particularly haunting as well. It matches the tune beautifully, and that is what I love so much about Lono's website is the lyrics and chords section lets you get a little bit deeper into what those songs are about or the history of the songs. So, for anyone who isn't familiar with Lono's website, if you do enjoy his music, I definitely suggest you check out the lyrics and chords section, not only for the lyrics and chords, but for also some history, some books, and general information about the song and its history many times, especially if it's a traditional song, one that he didn't necessarily write. And so, hey, Thomas the Turtle, good to see you. Came over from Terry's channel, probably going to be double dipping there. Let's see, Picola T, can I give you a Reader's Digest, condensed version of the story? Off the top of my head, no. But that doesn't mean that I can't work some magic and do some things and some stuff. And let's see what I can find here. Okay. Let's see here. Well, no, actually I can't. You're gonna have to, here we go. What I am gonna do is this. If you go to that, you'll be able to read it all. And part of the reason why I can't tell you the story is because there's a lot of Hawaiian words in there that I don't know how to say, and I don't want to say I'm on the stream because I'll say I'm wrong. So there you go. It has really mostly to do with that. I'm afeared to speak the language wrong because I can barely speak English, let alone Hawaiian. So yeah, there you have it, Rabbit. But that link will tell you, or will take you right to where you need to go to find that stuff. And also, actually, I think I went looking in the wrong place for the story. Actually, I'll bet you on Lono's website. That's not what I meant to say. I'll bet you on Lono's YouTube page, he probably has the Reader Digest version of the story. So let's see if we can go find the Reader's Digest version of the story. Okay, no, apparently we cannot. All right, let's try it one more time. All right, we are failing miserably. Fantastic. So glad to know. Oh, here we go. So let's see. Okay. So I'm just going to read you what Lono has to say, I guess. Here we go. So, the beneath the YouTube video, which we just watched on his page, he writes, while at the Hotel Molokai one Aloha Friday to watch the Kapuna play, I ran into a cousin. He said that he had a story to share before it gets lost forever. Meet with him at his home at Ho'olea Homestead. I followed him to see now we're getting into the words I can't know how to say. Mo'omomi Beach, where he proceeded to launch into his story. He noticed a whale unusually close to the shoreline, and a pod of whales outside seemed to be waiting. He left. The next day, when he returned, the whale was somewhat beached at the next cove. He noticed the other whales making an effort with their beached friend. That pod remained there after whale season was done. That's a danger, as the baby whales have a long journey and the killer whales will soon be on their path. Cousin asked several government departments for assistance. With no replies, he had to dispose of the whale himself, as he is the caretaker for that area. A friend from Oahu brought cables to try to pull the carcass to shore, but as they hooked the cables and began to pull the whale to shore, the cables snapped. They decided to burn it right there. They gathered driftwood and they set it on fire. It burned for 4 days, and there you go. There's a little bit more to the story, but basically, it's the tale of the family members, waiting for the whale to return, and that whale was not to be coming back. And so I guess now that we're on that train of thought and that story, it dovetails sort of nicely with what I was going to get into today on Whale Talk Wednesday. As we all know, the whales that mostly get talked about here are southern resident whales. And the southern resident whales, they inhabit, as we've talked about this before, the Salish Sea, which is the inland waters of the Puget Sound area and the Strait of Georgia, Queen Charlotte Islands. These resident whales are, as we know, are an endangered species, and part of the reason why they're an endangered species is because between the years of 1965 and 1973, they basically were trapping the southern resident whales to be sold off to the highest bidder. And there was one particular day in 1970, August 8th, 1970, when 7 different whales were captured. 6 of them were calves that were forcibly separated from their mothers. This capture took place in a place called Penn Cove.
Hello, this is Chef John from Food.
That is not what I wanted to say. Penn Cove is in the Puget Sound, and it is where that little red dot is. It's on Whidbey Island. And I wish that I had the right thing. Oh, here, you know what? This is where Penn Cove is in a larger scheme of things. When you this map has most of the Salish Sea in it, so Penn Cove is there, and then this is a close-up of Penn Cove. And what happened in Penn Cove that day, locals watched it happen, and it was pretty brutal. Like I said, 7 were captured, 6 of them were calves. However, nets were used to enclose over 100 orcas in this tiny shallow water cove called Penn Cove. And in doing so, some of these nets got entangled on some of these whales, and 5 of the whales actually drowned in the nets. Now, because they didn't want to deal with the paperwork or the reporting of these whales being killed, the people involved in the culling, in the capture, they filled the stomachs of those dead whales that drowned in the nets with rocks and tied anchors to their tails and let them float to the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, I know they don't float to the bottom of the ocean, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, the people on the shore, the people that were there, they recall hearing sounds of the cries, the human-like cries of the whales being captured and separated from their parents. The reason why I bring this up is because there is a whale in Florida, the Miami Seaquarium. Her name is Lolita. She's 54 years old. And when she was 4 years old, she was separated from her mom. Her mom is L25, aka Ocean Sun. And this is Ocean Sun. She's approximately 93 years old, and she is still alive and has recently been spotted in the Salish Sea. Now, her daughter is stuck in an aquarium in Florida. Now, this aquarium has since been closed to public. To public. The public isn't allowed in it anymore. So Lolita is effectively retired. That being said, she is still being held in captivity. Now, her mom and her pod is still, as we've discussed here on this stream, her pod is still in the area, and we know who her mom is. She still speaks the dialect of the L pod, and there's actually some work going on to figure out how perhaps Lolita can be reunited with her pod in the Salish Sea. There are no concrete plans for it happening yet. Things move slowly. As we've discussed on this stream, reuniting a wild captive orca, a wild orca that had been lost from its own pack and reuniting with its own pack, as was done once with a northern resident whale, killer whale. That was an experiment enough in itself. Never before, I believe, have they released a whale that's been in captive for so long back to home waters, back to the family line. They don't know if the family would recognize her. They don't know if the family would accept her. There's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts. However, things are working towards a happier ending. But to get back to the horrifying beginning, there are some pictures that that were taken. This picture was taken August 8th, 1970. This picture was taken. Now, this picture right here, the baby in between the two adults, that's Lolita. That's that baby that's still alive. And those two adults, one of them was L25, who is still alive. They were trying to protect their baby from the humans. As you can see in that picture, they're working to keep that baby as close to them and as possible. Unfortunately, the humans around there were successful in using sticks and explosives and fireworks and nets and guns to separate out the calves from their mothers. So this is, this was a particularly cruel hunt that happened that day. And you're right, exactly, Picola T. Can she even hunt and feed herself in the wild? These are questions that I don't think we have answers for. So Lolita is kind of she is the best hope for the worst thing that happened to that whale population. The whale population, as we know, is endangered. And part of the reason why the whale population is endangered, not only because of a lack of food stocks, but also between 1965 and 1973, 45 whales from the southern residents were removed from the waters and sold to aquariums across the world to the highest bidder. And unfortunately, most of those whales didn't survive. In fact, after 1987, I believe, Lolita was the only killer whale alive in the aquariums that was a survivor from the original hunts. All of the other whales and things have been born in captivity to the wild-caught parents, basically. But Lolita is an outlier. She has remained alive. Most of the calves that were culled in that 1970 Penn Cove incident, I believe there was 6 orca calves. 5 of them died within the first year. So this wild experiment of removing these huge creatures from their natural habitat and then keeping them in the tiniest of aquatic prisons, the experiment didn't go well from the beginning. And so now we're sort of at the end of this, 50, 60 year experiment of, well, what if we did this? Well, now we're learning what if we shouldn't have done that. And it's a case of, how can we undo the damage that we've done? Because obviously the captive born orcas, returning them to the wild is a dangerous folly with the kind of knowledge we have right now. But with Lolita, she was born wild. Her family is still there. We know who her family is. We know where her mom is. These are things that are kind of best case scenario, so to speak. So there is hope. But to get more into this particular topic, I actually I have a video. Yeah, today's a little bit video heavy, but I figure, why reinvent the wheel and tell the story when I have this video that has more footage and things than I could provide. Now, I'm going to warn you, these pictures that I have, the video that I'm about to show, they've got video of the day. And so, you may or may not want to watch. I'm not, it's not particularly graphic or anything, but I'm just giving you a content warning, so to speak. So, if you have the patience, I would love it if we could share this video, this documentary. And by the way, it's a documentary, so it's not only got video of that day. It's got other video too. And there's a lot of things that we can learn from this video, which is why I'm playing it. So I would love it if we could hang out and watch this video together. And then when I'm done with that video, trust me, you guys, I have something happier to finish this off with. But right now, let's watch the video and maybe learn something, shall we?
Well, this is El Pod, and we've got sport fishermen here. Everybody's looking for the same thing, a nice big salmon. Blows down south there was another group ahead of them.
They call this guy Papa Orca. In fact, Ken Velcom is to orcas what Jane Goodall is to chimpanzees. He's become a legend in the wild research community, and his work helped rewrite the books on the family lives and longevity of wild killer whales. No one in the world knows these whales like Ken Velcom. They're not just his subjects, they're his extended family.
I've been interested in whales since I was a little kid. I got interested in orca primarily when I was contracted to do a study to tell the government how many were here. And they just hooked me. They just have an air about them, a charisma that draws you and it just takes you in. My personal goals in studying this population were very simplistic. I was curious about just how long does it take for a whale to grow up? How often do they have a baby? How long do they live? What do they need in terms of social environment and food environment? And I haven't answered all those questions, but we've made approaches. And we've yet to break into their mystique and understanding. When we began this study in the mid-70s, the species Orcinus orca had just gone through sort of a makeover in its human perception. They'd been considered vicious killers, and then they were caught and put in oceanaria, and then they were movie stars, teddy whales. They became show business and entertainment commodities. Now they're a whale-watching industry, and they're a magnificent creature. All the things that people have thought they were probably are unrelated to what they really are. They're natural leaders of this ecosystem that they live in. Not that they lead it, but they're the top of that food chain. They're supremely adapted to their environment, and it would do us good to pay attention to how well they're doing, just so we know how this environment's doing. They're the indicator. The captures in this area started around 1966 when entire pods were rounded up. Whales, mostly young whales, were removed. In about a 10-year period, we had 58 whales taken out, and there were about 70 left when that capture era was over. And we found that they were resident here, and that if they kept up that kind of activity, they were going to basically remove all of the growing stock. We were going to be out of whales in another 10 years if they kept it up.
Well, in 1970, I was hired to be a diver and work on the whale capture. So we ended up down here in Penn Cove, and that's where it all happened. The actual capture was 100 yards off of that pier right over there. The holding pen was just a big circular net that was put down, and trying to get the smaller ones, work them into this little corral area, and that's where the animals died. They got caught in the net and drowned. And although there were guys hired to patrol that for that purpose, you know, well, stuff happens, you know, and it did. We'd had a couple or three die, and they came and got us, and I guess they have to get a permit for 6 or so, and if you lose some way, if they're not on your permit, well, you haven't got them. So they had us cut the animals that were already dead open and put rocks inside their cavity there and put anchors around their tail and sink them. It was because of publicity and the money. Anyway, we had released them all, and we took the last one over to the dock, and all of the animals that were in the holding pen and the animals that hadn't been caught at all came over to the dock right where we were loading the last baby, and stayed there. And they just communicated back and forth, and it was just awful. You know, the terror of just ripping that baby animal away from its mother like that. And as soon as that stretcher left the water, when the baby whale was no longer in the water, that was the last of the communication, and they knew it. And they just kind of like they took a deep breath, and they just all turned at one time, and they swam out of Penn Cove. And they tell me they haven't been back since. It was 28 years ago.
At that particular time, we had other animals in the nets. We were busy. I was sorry that we did kill the animals, but there was nothing I could do. They were already dead, and I had to be concerned about the live animals. So we split open their stomachs, put anchors on them, and sunk them, because no one else would take them. And that's what happened. I did not advertise the fact that I lost them. I don't like to lose them. But I did lose them, and no one would take them. So I wasn't going out and put up a big billboard. I killed X amount of animals. I did it, and that was it. It was just that simple. I care more about these animals than all the environmentals put together. I think my ex-partner and myself have done more for these animals than all environmental groups put together. We've showed the public what they are like. They're beautiful animals.
Well, anyway, when we were loading them on from the water onto the truck, terror of the separation. Well, it's the worst thing that I ever did and that ever happened to me in my life. some questions, or you just want to stand there and watch a grown man cry? It changed my whole life, and I very seldom can get through it without breaking down, and it's embarrassing, and I don't tell the story very often, but it's a very strong thing that happened, and if people realized that every time they bought a ticket to see one of these animals, that they're supporting that kind of thing, I don't think they would spend the money to go do that, because nobody would want to see what I saw. Now I'm against any animal like that in captivity, whether it's an ape or gorilla or whatever. I just don't think it's right. And once you see that, what I saw, what I tried to explain, I don't see how anybody could see it any different.
Well, when the first captives went on display, I went to see the early SeaWorld parks, and I was amazed at how much could be learned by having the entire animal visible, by being able to draw blood and samples from it, how trainable they were. But there was just a limit to all that. It was like studying a fish in a bowl. It had nothing to do with the system that it came from. And it took long enough to learn about how to keep them alive in that bowl. Now we have to translate some of that knowledge and all of what we get from the wild to learn how to keep them alive out here.
Baby orcas stay with their mothers all their lives, and that's how researchers determine the ages of the orcas. Babies always stay with their mothers, who in turn stay with their mothers. So, if you figure in the age that female orcas generally have their first baby, which is about 13 years, simple math can help you calculate the ages of the animals.
All right, so C Honda, thanks for coming in, and yeah, apologies for the downer tone per se, but like I said, this experimental thing that us humans put into place 50, 60 years ago is the arc is coming to a close, and with Lolita and L25, her mom, Ocean Sun, still both alive, there is potentially a strange happy ending to a very traumatic point in orca history. And Cindy, you think they should send Lolita back since her mom is still there? Yeah, it's been in the works. The talk of reuniting Lolita with the L Pod has been going on since 1995. And so, it's going to take a lot of agencies working together. But I have a feeling that we will eventually, in probably the next 10 years, and her mom might not be alive once it still happens, but I do think that we're going to maybe see Lolita, this is my hope at least, transferred back up to the Salish Sea. I honestly would be satisfied with some outdoor area that perhaps she could be like an outdoor pen, even if she doesn't get re-released into the wild with her family line. To me, having her, because she's not able to fend for herself in the wild, to me, having her in the salt water of her home waters is much preferable to any kind of aquarium-like place that she has spent all of her life in and continues to spend her life in. And so let's see here. Pacola T, somebody please tell a joke. There you go. Well, see Honda, she's coming in with the bad dad jokes. So there you have it. Now, I promised something. I promised it. And I'm not lying. So that is a horrible, horrible story that we just heard about whales. Well, guess what, you guys? Last week, in the middle of the ocean, north of Scotland in a place called the Shetland Islands, there was a whale stranded on the beach. Now, where are the Shetland Islands? Here's where the Shetland Islands are. See that red dot in the middle of everywhere or nowhere? In the middle of the water between Scotland and Norway and kind of south of Iceland? Okay, that's where we're talking about, right? So, poor little Minke whale ended up getting washed out to the beach and stuck on the beach. And this is what it looked, well, sort of what it looked like. But they thought that the whale was dead. And so it was reported as a dead whale on the beach that needed to be taken care of. They came down, they found out, oh no, the whale's not dead. So they did a whole bunch of things. They kept it cold and they kept it moist, et cetera, et cetera. And they eventually got the whale back into the water, into the shallow water. Now, this is something I didn't know, but luckily they knew. So I guess when whales are beached, their sense of equilibrium gets all sorts of messed up. So you can't just like throw them back in the water. You have to stabilize them in the shallows until they get their sea legs back, so to speak. And so that's what the volunteers are doing here, is they're keeping the whale from they're keeping the whale upright the way it's supposed to be, so the whale can then sort of get its inner balance organized. And then eventually, once the whale was starting to once it was clear to the volunteers that the whale had got itself situated, they then released that whale back into the water. So just last week, literally, like just last week, this happened in Scotland, the Shetland Islands. So, while it is not a joke, because it's not, it's not a joke, it's serious. This is sort of a happy thing to end this horrible saga on. And yes, Sea Honda, whales have sea legs, so to speak. You know, like I couldn't figure out what else to call them, you know, because, you know, when you go on a boat, you kind of don't know, or actually when you get off a boat and you like walk on land and then you're walking all funny because you're used to being on the sea, you know, right? Right? You know. So, that I think is all we've got for Whale Talk Wednesday, unless of course you want to talk about something else that that I don't have pictures for, but we can definitely do that. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. Oh, no. I did have a joke meme that I used yesterday or last Sunday to maybe lighten the mood, but I erased it off of my system, so I don't have that joke anymore. And yeah, okay, there you go. It's land fins. There you go. They got their land fins, and they really need their sea fins. So it takes a minute for the sea fins to get reorganized when they get back to the water. So yeah, so there you go. Now you know, and you probably didn't, because I maybe didn't. You can't just throw a whale back in the water because their equilibrium's not right. You got to let them ease back in. And frankly, the idea of throwing a whale back in the water to me is kind of funny, but that's just me. So there you have it, guys. There you have it. I don't really have much else to talk about today. I kind of over stuffed at the beginning, and now we've got, you know, another 45 minutes worth of nothingness. So if we can talk about something or nothing, or something and something, that would be awesome. It is a little bit, we've got a few people today that are missing, and in case you didn't know, Kenny from the Cove is probably not here today, and if he is here, he's just listening because he's busy getting one of his eyes all fixed up. He got one of his eyes all fixed up, but now he's getting the other one all fixed up. So Kenny might not be around for the next couple days. And as we know, Rick and Darlene are like up living the life. So we definitely have a smaller crew than usual. And then Andre, in case you guys are wondering, he works for schools, and apparently school has started already. Like, what? I say that every summer at this time. I just can't understand how schools start before Labor Day. It makes no sense to me. It makes my worldview is so confused when schools start before Labor Day. And yeah, exactly. And eye lasers, precisely. His eyes will be bionic by the time he's done with it. And so yeah, so we're wishing Kenny from the Cove, quick and happy and healthy eye lasers. And yeah, hopefully he'll be back sooner than later, but I don't think he will be here for for the next couple streams. And Pecola Tea, yeah, Hawaii Public Schools started on August 1st. What? Exactly, and the reason I didn't know the exact date, but that sounds about right, because Photo Luke was talking about taking his son back to school, and it was like August 1st. And that just makes no sense to me at all. And Cindy Krause, school started there last week. The only thing I can wonder, and I'm asking, and I don't think with Hawaii it is, but I know that in California sometimes they do this. Cindy, are your schools on the year-round schedule? So like you have sort of 3 trimesters and the school is year-round, or do you just have the regular school year, but it just started early? Why does it start so early? Why? Pecola Tea, University of Hawaii started about this week. Traffic is up significantly. Yeah, that's funny you should say that, because when I visited Oahu in mid-June, I was talking to my real estate agent, C. Honda's cousin, and I was talking to her, and I was mentioning how not bad the traffic was. I was really stunned at how much there was a lack of traffic. I was expecting way more traffic, and she was like, "Oh, don't let this time of year fool ya. Once the college is back in session, everything changes." So, Pecola Tea coming in with apparently a similar point of view. Yeah, there you have it. And let's see here. Yeah, Pecola Tea, exactly. You feel like kids here have missed out on a true summer break when they have to go back in August. Precisely. I mean, it's just like most of June, or at least half of June, all of July, all of August, and then after Labor Day is when school starts. And that's just how it's supposed to work. I deem it so. Which would explain why it doesn't work like that at all. So, let's see here. Cindy, okay, so you're regular old-fashioned with summer and 2 semesters, but why does it start so early? I know you don't know. And C. Honda, you nailed it. You haven't seen traffic like this since 3 years ago. Exactly. Yeah, we're just, even though it's not over, it's over, and we're back to where we used to be. Although I have to say, so I'm not sure if you guys, not sure if you guys care. I'm not sure if you guys know or heard me talk about it, but where I live and work in the West Seattle area, and there's this place, it's called the West Seattle Bridge. The West Seattle Bridge connects West Seattle to Seattle. And because there's a river between the two of us. And right after the lockdown, they found out that the West Seattle Bridge was falling down, literally falling down. So they closed it to all traffic. Well, unfortunately, the West Seattle Bridge is one of the only ways to get in and out of West Seattle. So closing that was a bit of a problem. And so for the last 2 years, traffic along the peninsula that I live in has just completely altered itself, because you have to go down the river before you can cross the river, as opposed to just crossing the river. And anyway, the traffic in the last 2 years in my area has just been horrifying, despite the lockdown. But because of the reroutes, September 18th, the West Seattle Bridge is opening. And so finally, for the last we're going to get traffic patterns like we had 3 years ago when the West Seattle Bridge was still open. And I am so flippin'. I mean, I don't even leave West Seattle. It's not even like I need the bridge. It's just that everybody who needs the bridge has to go to my neighborhood to get through the route. And it's like, no, you stay. Now you don't have to come to my neck of the woods anymore. You just stay on the north end and go cross the bridge. Exactly, dude. Over the river and through the woods. I knew what you meant. And that is exactly how that is. clearly you've driven from West Seattle to Seattle. It's over the river and through the woods, or vice versa, actually. And Cindy Krause, you got your first tomato today? Oh, you got them in kind of late. Yeah, clearly, because it's like, really? I mean, we've even gotten tomatoes sooner than this up here, and you live in, like, you know, the warm area. Let's see here. Let's see, Picola T, the big discussions in September were, what did you do this summer? How do you describe 2 months? Yeah, no doubt, dude. That's, well, especially, you know, especially when you're a kid, like half of the summer is just like, yeah, I woke up, I watched a lot of TV, I went outside. Like, there's really nothing, like, you did the same thing of nothingness every single day. You know, it's just a different book that you read. It was a different rerun of Mayberry that you watched or whatever. Yep, there we go. And so let's see here. Oh, Shock, so you're thinking it's a hedge against lost school days for weather and stuff? Well, okay, I can see that logic to a degree, but in Hawaii and in California, I'm not so sure that logic applies. Like if Anne was just like, oh yeah, we started school, you know, last week, I could see the logic of weather delays like for Hawaii and for Southern California. That just seems like, I don't really know if weather days apply for those climates, do they? And yeah, there you go. Shock, exactly. Give me tomatoes sooner than this. Give me tomatoes better than this. Okay, that we might need to edit that out because that was embarrassing. There we have it. Yeah. See, Honda, your tomatoes are almost done because of the burned up foliage. Yeah, totally. You know, that's the weird thing about tomatoes. Like, they really like it heat. They hot like it, you know, the radiant heat. But once it gets too hot, then they're just like, I'm not going to make flowers for tomatoes anymore. It's too hot and I'm a precious flower and I cannot. I'm delicate. So it's very strange how tomatoes like require heat, but then when it's too hot, they're just like, well, now I'm just going to... I'm not going to do anything now. It's too hot. But you wanted it hot. I didn't want it this hot. But I gave you the heat. It's too hot. That's the tomatoes sometimes. That's my impression of a tomato. Just so you know. That's what you come here for, right? Is my impressions of vegetables. So my tomato has an attitude. It's too hot. It's too hot. Yep, too hot. That's my tomato's attitude. So, let's see. So, let's see here. Yeah, exactly. Tomato talk. Yeah. Wednesday tomato talk. Tuesday tomato talk. If we ever have a show on Tuesday, it'll be Tuesday tomato talk. And Picola T, although some parents, those who are still working from home, are probably so relieved the kids are out of the house. All right, that makes sense. And okay, Anne, Minnesota starts the day after Labor Day. You know why? Do you know why? Because they know what's up. They know how the world works. Minnesota, they know. Yeah. And eMusic coming in with Wisconsin's reality. Schools here start close to or after Labor Day, and they still have snow days accounted for. See, there you go. So all of this crazy talk, Augustness. I mean, what are they doing here? What are they doing here? That makes no sense. So let's see here. Yeah, you stick to the old farmer's calendar. You know it. That's how it goes. I mean, you know, the thing is if you're still gonna have the summer off, which is still kind of the farmer's calendar concept, then why not just have the traditional summer, you know, Labor Day start, etc. Although I will say, I know this is controversial, but I will say the idea of like the year-round school, you know, where like it's 3 sets of trimesters and then you've only got, I think, like 5 weeks or something between each trimester. I kind of like that idea because I have to say, I was not a very math-oriented student. And I remember, what, in fourth grade, fifth grade, third grade, or whatever, like, I had to relearn fractions. You learned fractions in third grade, and then you went on to summer break right after you learned the fractions, and then you come into fourth grade, and they're just like, well, you've covered fractions, right? And it's like, well, yeah, but I kind of forgot everything. So, could you cover fractions again? So, you kind of have to spend a little bit relearning what you forgot because the stupid summer break is so long. And here I am talking against my own points, which is summer break should last until Labor Day, but I just have complicated ideas. There you go. And anyone here like to eat tomato and mayo sandwiches? I do, but honestly, Picola Tea, when it comes to fresh tomatoes, unfortunately, one of my college roommates turned me on to this, and I kind of wish she didn't, because I could live off this. I really enjoy a piece of toast with butter, the sliced tomato with a little bit of salt and pepper. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I could eat those every day of my life. Yeah, no, that is my favorite way to eat the little tomato. It's not really a sandwich. It's a little open-faced sandwich. But yeah, buttered toast with tomato and salt. And coming in, yeah, retention isn't as good with the whole summer. But you needed summer to recoup from the Lord of the Flies school social structure. Yes, well, there is that. There definitely is that. And Anne, thank you so much for gifting a sub to SD Dodger. And yeah, exactly, Pulity. Can't argue with butter. But I will say, though, a little bit of mayo on a piece of bread with a slice of cheese with some salt and pepper, also very tasty. Although, did I mention with a slice of cheese? Because I usually put cheese on that sandwich as well. In fact, one of my favorite sandwiches that is just like the most basic white trash sandwich in the world, I guess, but it's still really good, is 2 slices of white bread with, Best Foods. Yeah, Best Foods or Hellman's if you're on that side. Best Foods, 1 slice of American cheese, some tomato slices, some iceberg lettuce. Like I said, this is white trash. And salt and pepper. So just lettuce, tomato, cheese on white bread sandwich. Delish. But yeah, Cindy, you're right. Tomato on a grilled cheese sandwich, probably, I'm not going to say it's the best way to eat a grilled cheese sandwich, but it is definitely the way to bring it to the next level. The next level is with that tomato in there, with the greasy meltiness, very, very tasty. And so Cindy, okay, toast, mayo, tomato, avocado with pepper and salt. Okay, so similar, only, you've got the avocado because you're a weird Californianer. Patty melt on rye was your dinner. Oh, now you're just, E-Music, first off, good to see you. And second off, now you're just coming in here making everybody jealous. And yeah, an avocado BLT. I feel like I've seen those on a recipe, except for that's not the word, a menu. I've seen those on a menu, and I think they called them a blat, a bacon, lettuce, avocado, tomato, a BLAT, a blat. So you like the blats, which isn't nearly as nice sounding as a BLT, but whatever. Yes, a blat. That is it. Now, okay, so speaking of grilled cheese sandwiches, have you ever tried a thin slice of mayonnaise instead of butter on the outside to grill your sandwiches? Because grilling and here's the key: less is more when it comes to using mayonnaise instead of butter. But yeah, if you just use like the thinnest coating of mayonnaise on your bread to make your little grilled cheese, it is delicious. I suggest you try. And Oh, Cindy, you're near a huge avocado farm in Morro Bay. Got it. Got it. Now, I don't know. I probably told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. So I was on the Big Island. I was on Hawaii Island, you know, and I was staying at this coffee plantation. And at the coffee plant, oh, yum, E-Music. All right, we'll tell this story in a minute. E-Music's thrown down with in the Midwest. They had sauerkraut in the patty melt. Okay, now, E-Music, I have a question, because in my brain, patty melts usually have grilled onions. Do they keep the grilled onions in the patty melt with the sauerkraut? Or do they substitute the grilled onions for the sauerkraut? Before you answer, I just want you to know, either answer is acceptable. Both answers sound delicious, but I'm just curious which answer it is. And so let's see here. Cindy Krause, mayo is egg, spice, and oil. Great to smear on swordfish and broil. Yep, there you go. Yeah, actually, Photo Luke has a video on how he makes salmon fillets. And his recipe for salmon fillets is, you know, they're out on the salmon is out on the cookie sheet or whatever, the baking sheet. And he puts a bunch of furikake on it. And then he puts a bunch of mayonnaise on top of the furikake on the salmon. And then he sprinkles some onions and then he cooks them for 20 minutes to 400. I have no idea what he cooks them for, actually. But I'm just saying, you know, he covers them with mayo and furikake and onions, and it looks delicious. I need to try that. And so swordfish, salmon, whatever, I think it would be a really good, I think it sounds delicious on fish. And so, okay, E-Music, you don't recall seeing the onions. So that still sounds delicious. Like I said, either answer is acceptable. And let's see here. So, all right, so Anne is coming in with something I've never heard of, or if I have, I didn't know. Your favorite sandwich is with sauerkraut is a Rachel. It's the turkey version of a Reuben sandwich. Okay. I think I might like the Rachel better. So wait, what? E-Music? Hold on. Where you live, they call burritos tacos? Okay. They're soft tacos, right? I would hope or assume soft taco. That's a whole other topic. All right. So I'm going back to the Rachel. I'm going back to the Rachel. Now, a Reuben, that has pastrami on it, right? And so the Rachel just has the turkey. Because I don't really know how I feel about pastrami. Some pastramis are good, some are not so good. I think I might like a Rachel better. Like, I think the turkey would be... I think I would prefer the turkey. And now, Cindy Krause, French bread with mayo. What are you saying? That you just eat French bread with mayo? I've never tried that. I'm not above trying that. Okay, so French bread with mayo and Parmesan cheese. So what, you, and then you like, what, grill it? Or not grill it, broil it? Tell me more about this, Cindy, because it sounds fattening and like something I should never eat. So you know how that's gonna go. But yeah, that actually, I've never thought of that. Instead of like a garlic bread with garlic butter, you... do the mayonnaise. Okay, Reuben has corned beef. Okay, that's why I couldn't remember. That's why I don't like Reubens. I don't like corned beef. I knew there was a reason why I didn't eat Reuben sandwiches. So I definitely would prefer the Rachel to the Reuben because turkey is superior to the corned beef. Now, for those of you who enjoy the corned beef, I encourage you to come sit next to me when we have the corned beef because I will give you all of my corned beef. I will not judge you for liking your corned beef. I will thank you for helping me clean my plate. So, we have a deal. And Cindy, mix cheese in the mayo and garlic, then smear on bread and broil. Right, so basically it's sort of like a garlic bread that you do with butter, only you do it with mayonnaise. I didn't need to know about that. Yeah, I didn't need to know about that. I feel a little bit like I do right now, hearing about this. I feel a little bit like I did when I discovered this particular flavor of Red Bull. Now, I had thought that I had found my favorite flavor of Red Bull until I discovered the coconut berry flavor of Red Bull, which, by the way, this tastes like one of those raspberry coconut zingers, you know, like the Twinkies with the raspberry and the coconut. So you know this is full of sugar because it's delicious. Yeah, I didn't need to know that this existed, and I didn't need to know what you just told me existed. However, now that I have this knowledge, I just might have to live with that. And let's see here. Anne's coming in, making me really hungry. The Reuben sauce and the sauerkraut and the rye bread with the turkey is much better than with corned beef. I don't think I'm going to be arguing with you. I mean, I haven't had a side-by-side taste test, but you know, I feel as though I think I would probably fall on your side of things. And what's a Twinkie? You're so silly. Good for you, Picola T. It's been so long you don't remember. You see, it's this thing. Actually, you guys, check this out. So when I was a kid, I still don't really understand how or why this was the way it was. But when I was a kid in Hawaii, Twinkies were banana flavored. Now, it might have been only a Hawaii thing. It might have been a limited time thing, and it just so happened that all the Twinkies that I ever got when I was in Hawaii that I remembered were banana flavored. Whatever, I don't know. But seriously, all the Twinkies when I lived in Hawaii tasted like bananas or were banana flavored. When I moved to the United States, I was so disappointed and so shocked and so stunned at this thing they said was a Twinkie. It's just like, but that's not what Twinkies taste like. I was totally bummed about that, right? And so, but then, you know, you live in the Pacific Northwest for most of your life, and then so you're just like, did I make that memory up? Was I insane as a child? What is the deal? But then when I was in college, they came out with the banana flavored Twinkies again for a limited time, and I tasted one, and it was like, no, I did not make that up. This is the Twinkie of my youth in Hawaii. And so, Picola T, you remember banana Twinkies too. So now, and okay, so Cindy, you remember them too. So what did Twinkie, so can we come to a consensus here? Like, or do we know, did Twinkies used to be banana flavored? Did Twinkies on the West Coast / Hawaii only get the banana flavored? Or what's the story? Do we know the story of why we had this banana flavored experience that then suddenly went away and nobody else? Because the people on the mainland that I told, like, no, dude, these used to be banana flavored. They were just like, no, they were not. Twinkies have always tasted like this. And it's like, no, Twinkies have not always tasted like this. So CE Music, you remember the banana Twinkies too. I have to wonder, I mean, I really do wonder, like, did Hawaii get different Twinkies than the rest of the country? And another glitch in the Matrix. Exactly. And shock, insane as a child. It is possible. I know it's very unlikely, but it's possible. Yeah, and so I don't know what the deal is with the banana Twinkies, but the moment that they came back and I like ate one, it was just like, I absolutely did not make this childhood memory up. It was, you know how when you smell and taste stuff from your childhood, it came back. I mean, like, I remembered standing in a store. Oh yeah, no, I did not just make up the banana thing, and you guys are coming in supporting this. Shock, I'm not insane now. Well, no, I am insane now. Oh yes, I am insane now. I have medicines to prove it and everything, see? Oh wait, that's my thyroid medicine. But yeah, I have medicines. And let's see here. Picola Tea, Coca-Cola tastes different in different areas, so maybe banana flavored Twinkie was a regional thing. That's kind of what I'm wondering. Another thing that I remember when I was a kid in Hawaii, they Dairy Queen was like everywhere in Hawaii. One thing I noticed when I went back to Hawaii was there was a serious lack of Dairy Queens. But Dairy Queen was everywhere when I was in Hawaii, when I was a kid in Hawaii. And they had soft serve chocolate ice cream, not just vanilla, but chocolate. It was soft serve, and it was delicious because I prefer chocolate to vanilla. So when we moved to Bremerton, and I remember I could tell you, I could take you to the Dairy Queen, or I could take you to the building that used to be the Dairy Queen where this happened. I remember it so clearly. We went through the drive-through, and I got a chocolate cone, and my mom hands me the chocolate cone, and it's a vanilla cone dipped in chocolate, which is gross. I was so bummed. I was confused. It never occurred to me that the Dairy Queens wouldn't have the same things from state to state, but And so let's see here. E-music, Hawaii's been a test area for certain foods over the decades. Bananas are common in Hawaii, so you can see those Twinkies being introduced in Hawaii. Precisely, yeah. And so, I don't know if that's exactly what happened, but I can say that my first Twinkie experience was a banana Twinkie experience, and I feel equally confident in saying banana Twinkies are superior to whatever the flying fork it is they're selling these days. That's just how that goes. So, banana Twinkies for everyone. I'm on my dumpster queen soapbox. If I could rule the roost, banana Twinkies for everyone. And yeah, well, okay, and where DQ has different items for different locations, absolutely. But as a 5-year-old, you don't know that, right? As a 5-year-old, you're just like, I want a chocolate cone, and then they serve you this vanilla cone with chocolate on it, and it's just like, this is the opposite of what I flippin' ordered. Absolutely, this is so, it was just gross. Because I've never been a fan of, like, what are they, Eskimo pies or whatever, or the hard chocolate shell over the ice cream. I don't, like, it's just not. I know Andy Bumatai is a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan. I don't like it. That's right. That's my soap. That's my soaping box. My box of soap. I've been on it. So let's see what else you guys want to talk about for the last couple minutes. It's, because, let's see here. Cindy Krause, barbecue Fritos were the best, but you can't get them anymore. Barbecue Fritos. I don't remember barbecue Fritos. I remember chili cheese Fritos. You still can get those. One of the reasons why I like chili cheese Fritos is because, the name of the product, the bag of the product, the look of a product, the taste of the product is so quintessentially junk food that I can't help but love it. I mean, that anything named chili cheese Fritos is junk food. I mean, there's no pretending. There's no fake in it. Like, well, it's got blah, blah, blah in it, so it's no. Like with Sun Chips, well, it's got whole grains in it, so it can be good for me. It's like, well, if you read the label, it's not. But you can fool yourself. But chili cheese Fritos, no, you cannot fool yourself. If you're eating chili cheese Fritos, you know that you're doing something bad for yourself. And, exactly, Bocola T, give me an ice cream sandwich over an Eskimo pie any day. And especially when the ice cream sandwich is kind of like the cookie's kind of soft, or when there's that like cookie layer that it stays on the paper. Delicious. I love them. And Cindy, they were before the chili cheese Fritos. Yeah, I've definitely never seen barbecue Fritos. I have seen these things that are like they're Frito dough, I guess, or whatever. I mean, and they're labeled as Fritos, but they're curls. They look a little bit more like pasta, they're curly like that. And it's honey barbecue. And so they have the honey barbecue Frito curls. I don't remember what exact twists, Frito twists, I think is what they're called. So I know that they've got the honey barbecue, but it's honey barbecue. It's a very sweet barbecue. It's not, so I don't know if it's the same as the ones you're reminiscing, but they do sort of have that. Let's see here. In Colorado, they had Tostito lime and chili chips, but in Minnesota and elsewhere, it's just hint of lime. Oh no, we've got lime and chili here in the Puget Sound. I would be willing to bet that it's where there's a large Latino population. They have it either marketed differently or a different product, and I'm guessing that Minnesota probably doesn't have a large Latino population. Although I have no idea because the Latino population has exploded across the country in the last 20 years. So there could be an enclave of, of Hispanic culture up in Minnesota that I have no idea about. So let's see here. And I did not see this. So Picola Tea, there's a local brand called Uncle's. It's cookie ice cream sandwich with local flavors like lilikoi. Oh, that sounds delicious. And so, Anware, you want the lime and chili chips better with more lime? Okay, you know what? I'll see if I can find the lime and chili at my store, and I'll mail you some. Yeah, that. So, speaking of chips, have you guys Doritos came out with a new flavor that is everywhere in my area, but I'm not sure it's everywhere in the rest of the world or the rest of the country, I mean. And it's a tamarind flavor. Have you guys tried the tamarind Doritos? I do. Hold on. I didn't really like them. I like them with lihingmoy dried mango to eat them together, but as standalone chips, I'm not a fan. But this is what it looks like, tangy tamarind. And I was just wondering if this is a flavor that is everywhere now, or if Seattle is a test market. So just curious, putting that out there. Have you guys seen the tangy tamarind? It's very spicy and very sour. It's a very strange chip. Well, like I said, I didn't really like the chip unless I paired it with a lihingmoy dried mango slice. And while I'm sitting here talking about chips I don't really like, Picola Tea's got a confession about her ice cream sandwich in the freezer now. All right. Yeah, so I have to ask, what's the flavor? Might not be ice cream in the freezer later tonight. There you have it. Nope, probably not. And your stomach's grumbling? Yeah, mine is too, actually. I haven't eaten yet today. And so I actually am like looking at those chips that I don't like. And it's just like, maybe those chips aren't so bad. But you can tell that I don't like those chips because I still have half a bag left, and I don't normally have bags of chips that last more than 2 or 3 days, and I think that's been sitting there for like a week now. So there you go. And yeah, exactly. E-Music, Picola Tea is definitely a tease for certain. No fair, but I still want to know what flavor it is. Still want to know. And as you can see, you guys know what I'm drinking, and I won't tell Anne what I'm drinking because she knows. And Anne, are you the only one that hates mint ice cream? Yes and no. It all depends, maybe. First off, okay, well, we're going to talk about mint ice cream in a minute. We're now going to talk about Picola Tea bragging. Oh, you don't just have one? You've got strawberry, chocolate, and lilikoi? So what you're saying is you brought enough to share with the class. Excellent. Now share with the class. But when it comes to mint ice cream, I definitely don't like mint ice cream because for the most part, mint ice cream is always served as mint chocolate chip ice cream. And as I've mentioned earlier, I don't like the hard chocolate bits in ice cream. I don't care if it's an Eskimo pie shell or if it's the little bits in chocolate mint ice cream. I don't like that texture in my ice cream. I do not like it. The chocolate doesn't taste good. The ice cream the texture gets all weird. I don't like it. So I don't like chocolate mint ice cream. I generally don't like mint ice cream, but somebody gave me a pint of Haagen-Dazs Naturals or something like decades ago. I don't even know if this label of their brand still exists, but it's like the Haagen-Dazs Naturals or whatever. And the mint ice cream for that kind, it wasn't green, it was white. It just looked like vanilla, but it tasted a little bit like mint. I could handle that. But in regards to like, for the most part, no, dude, mint ice cream is gross. So Ann and if you guys like mint ice cream, come sit next to Ann and I. We will give it to you. We don't want it. It's okay. And Cindy Krause planning your dinner. You've got avocado, bacon, tomato, lettuce, and sourdough bread for dinner. Yum. If you're gonna do a grill, if you're gonna grill the bread, remember my mayo tip. Just a little bit of mayo instead of butter when you're grilling it. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And we'll pedal our bikes over to Picola T's house after school. Share. Oh, and we're coming to the table empty. Picola T and Cindy Krause they've already set up a trade. They've already set up a trade, dude. We've got nothing. Man, all we got to offer is crummy mint ice cream that tastes like toothpaste. Exactly. And we're not going to get into the good ice cream. We're just going to be stuck with the mint. Cindy's got a great sandwich to trade. I got nothing. I just have a half a can of pamplemousse. All right, I said it. Sorry, I said it. I said pamplemousse. And okay, so it looks like we are getting to the bottom of the hour, and I just remembered that I kind of lied to you guys on Sunday. I mean, it wasn't a lie at the time, but as it turns out, it ended up being a lie, because I said on Wednesday, I know we're gonna be playing at Satterbox at the cinema on Saturday, and as it turns out, it's Wednesday today. And I'm not really sure what we're going to be playing on Satterbox at the cinema. So, I can't tell you what we're going to be playing at Satterbox at the cinema. We'll find out together, I guess. There we go. And you just smushed, exactly, you just have the smushed PB&J in the brown paper bag. It was smushed by your red delicious apple. See, mine wasn't smushed, but I have a bruised banana instead of a red delicious apple. And I mean, my PB&J did get smushed, but not because of the apple, just because it was in my backpack. But I got a bruised banana because it was in my backpack too. So anyone want to trade? Anyone want to trade? I do hate it when my sandwich gets smushed. I know you're talking to Ann, but I'm gonna answer anyway. When the sandwich gets smushed, it sucks. Oh, you got grape jelly? Oh, see, no, I don't. I have seedless strawberry. I have seedless strawberry because my mom doesn't like seeds, so she can't have seeds. So she buys jams and jellies with no seeds. That's how I was growing up because my mom, she had a medical thing. She wasn't able to eat seeds, so all of our jams and jellies were seedless. I mean, I guess by definition, jelly is seedless, so, whatever. Yeah, raspberry jam. Raspberry jam. Seedless raspberry jam. Yum. Yeah. All right, then. So, on that note, oh, Cindy Krause, you made grape jelly. Oh. Well, now, okay, we're gonna wrap this up real quick, but I have to have this answer. So, Cindy, you say you made the grape jelly. What kind of grapes did you make the grape jelly with? Did you use the traditional Concord grapes for that grapey graperson and the grape that graped flavor? Or did you use a different kind of grape for the jelly? Or can you not? I've only seen grape jelly made with Concord grapes. Like, can you use other kind of grapes to make grape jelly besides Cord grapes? I have so many questions. Picola Tea, your husband's thing is to purposely smash his sandwich before eating? It hurts to watch? Yeah, I can appreciate that. The only time, in my opinion, that smashing of the sandwich is appropriate is when you're taking your tuna sandwich apart or whatever, and then you put your potato chips on the sandwich, and then you put your bread back on top of the potato chips. You kind of have to smush them in to make sure that they don't fall out. That is an acceptable sandwich smush due to the potato chip inclusion. But only with a potato chip inclusion waiver will smushing of sandwiches be allowed. So you better get your paperwork straight. Otherwise, we just cannot have this sandwich smush. You're not permitted. Simply, you're not permitted. Yeah. Oh my God, Anne, you just... Clearly, Anne and I have the same... Clearly, Anne and I have the same idea about whether or not it's acceptable to smush sandwiches. Only with potato chips in it. Oh no, he smushes his burgers too? Oh no. Dude, when are you getting the divorce? I mean, seriously. How can you abide? Obviously, I'm kidding. But, I mean, if you ever did get a divorce, make note of it in the papers. He smushes his sandwiches, even his burgers. Judge sees that, he's going to award you the barbecue and everything. Yeah, smushing of the sandwiches, no. Cannot abide. Cannot happen. Cannot. You are awarded the barbecue. That's how that divorce is going to happen. You're going to get divorced because of sandwiches, and you're going to walk away with the barbecue. Seems like a good plan, right? Okay, probably not. You just look away. Yeah, pick your battles. Exactly. All right, guys, it is 2 minutes after the bottom of the hour, so we are just a little bit late today, but that's okay because we're being silly. So great to hang out with all y'all. I think it was a ladies only chat today, wasn't it? It's at least my impression. So fantastic to have a little talk with the ladies. And I guess anybody else can tune in if they want. And if you are tuning in later on after this happened on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. And maybe join us on Twitch on Mondays. No, not on Mondays. On Sundays and Wednesdays at 5 p.m. so you can catch that live show. All right, guys. I hope to see you on Saturday. What are we going to watch? Let's find out together because I have no idea. So, all right then. Take care, everybody. Great to see you today.